everyone, I'm your Sunshine Gracie.
Hello everyone, I'm your loud voice, Aldous.
Hello everyone, I'm your Sweet Cha. And we are Make It Seem Podcast. So, we're here today on our first episode of this podcast wherein we tackle the social issues in relation to the SDG number 16, Peace, Justice, and Strong Institutions. Well, first and foremost, let's introduce our incredible speakers for today. They are both grade 11 youth students from Ado Senior High School who have looked into the gun violence in Mindanao and investigated other social issues that are happening in our society. Let's welcome Sophia Rana and Erwin Wood. And for our guests, they are here to provide their insights and expertise on why guns matter. Mary Ann Young and Althea Lamed.
Before we start, let's play a little game called Pinoy Hen. I know you know about this game, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start our game.
Is it a person?
No.
Is it a thing?
Yes.
Is it worn by a person?
Yes.
Is it worn by a person in house?
No.
In the government?
No.
By someone in the government?
Maybe.
Are police officials?
Yes.
Oh, worn by police officials. Oh, it could be a gun.
Yes. Let's move on to our next round of guests. Althea Labek and Mary Anya.
Is it a thing? No. Is it a person? No. Is it a food? Yes. Is it a vegetable? No. Is it meat? No. sorry. sorry. Is it a fruit? Yes. Is it a smelly fruit?
Yes.
Oh, is it famous in Davao?
Yes.
Oh, it's durian. I don't know.
Good job! Good job, guys. Well, these words all represent about gun violence in Davao City. So, that's the topic that I want you to share your insights with, particularly with all the researches you've done and spent into this topic, right? Heard about the recent gun violence occurrences?
Yes.
That is what has piqued our interest. Why don't we dive into this a little bit more? Today's podcast, Why Do Guns Matter?
Yes. According to Amnesty International, more than 500 people die every day because of incorrect use of weapons and the sale of guns to specific people.
Oh, I guess so. But in our country, it is said by Eisenman, the number of people killed by guns in 2016 in the Philippines per 100,000 people is 7.42, which is 2 times more than the US. And De Guzman stated that the Philippines is one of the deadliest places in Asia. When it comes to firearms and homicides and even intentional ones, that count saw over 1,200 intentional killings in 2019.
In Mindanao, this island has been afflicted in conflict with Muslim rebel groups and warlords that are fighting for control. However, in Davao, as it is located in Mindanao, the crime rate in Davao region went down by 13%. However, recent cases of gun violence took place in the area.
Now, we already have insight that this social issue is really something that one must seriously deal or face from the data alone, in the world, in our country, and in our city. Well, now, I do have a question for our speaker, Sophia. What do you think goes on with the mind of those perpetrators, and if such conscience and conviction appears?
Well, I remembered when we discussed conscience Our teacher taught us that it has categories. In the category certain conscience, which means a person is without any prudent fear, certain from the word itself. A person decides and act whether it is lawful or not. However, in its type, particularly erroneous conscience, the person judges a thing certainly, however, with incorrect reasoning. And its subtype lacks conscience. The person is certain that it is right, however, it is sinful, especially you're about to kill someone. Which, from this, we can conclude that our conscience is not all the time right, but we do have a responsibility upon informing it, because conscience itself is also a process to discover a particular good to be done and a particular evil to be avoided.
Wow, thank you so much, so for your beautiful insight. Now let's move on to our guests.
Hello, Athea. Hello, Mary Ann.
Hello.
So now you've heard about this issue, right? Such as the bar incident last year and the jeepney incident, and recently a woman was killed in front of her home. As also a citizen living in Davao City, in your entire life, what is your observation and experiences regarding with the issue that of course is happening in our society, and how does it affect you?
Hearing about the problem in Davao, I have some observations as someone who lives in the city. To tell you the truth, I am not the type of person who often watches the news to be informed of the current happenings in my community. However, as a young student, my knowledge about the social issues widens. But it came to my knowledge about the widespread of the inappropriate use of gun violence, which causes a lot of damages to the people of Davao. Well, I do not have any experiences with this type of situation, but I feel anxious when going outside of my house because I do not feel safe.
Living here in Davao, just like what Althea said, I also feel very anxious because I don't know when the danger will come, my life will end, I can't guarantee my own safety. This is a problem that I will be anxious about living here in Davao.
Okay, so as a person with particular knowledge in this topic, so what can you say about the reforms that our government in our city is doing?
Well, there have been policies that ensure the safety and well-being of the citizens. With these laws, human laws are made for a reason, for the common good for citizens to live in harmony. Republic Act 10591 itself, which former President Benigno Aquino III signed, and the new law RA 11766, which is made by former President Rodrigo Duterte, that made the law stronger and stricter to own a gun.
Oh, so can you tell us more about that?
Composes of licensed gun owners had to be 21 years old and above and should take the firearm safety seminar. Among other requirements, has gainful work, occupation or business, or has filed an income tax return or ITR for the preceding year as proof of income, profession, business or occupation, and failure to renew the license to carry and own guns in 2 occasions shall be disqualified from applying any firearm license.
Thank you for that fact, So right now, we would like to dive deeper into the reasons why gun violence occurs in this city, which we will now ask our second speaker, Erwin.
Everyone, so basing from the recent cases happening in our city, and according to the Guzman, hundreds of thousands of guns are illegally owned as people could take care of the formalities standing in the way of gun ownership, such as in the documentary from the Vice News, where even children made homemade guns, such as pen gun and sumpa, and even people even go to the Now Cebu, where it is the heart of Philippines illegal industry. Secondly, people are influenced because of alcohol and intense emotion to other people. I would like to connect it in our basic freedom as a person wherein it really has hindrance to it, as these are impediments, namely the biological impediments. The alcohol, for example, because when a person gets intoxicated with it, it will lead to malfunctioning of our brains that result to inability of the person to think clearly and see things through. The factor of personal grudge or range to the person, where it falls to a psychological impediment, which originates from the unconscious or heightened emotions, that affects the ability of the person to think, that leads to incorrect usage of guns. Also, it may be related to other crimes as well as the like robbery or kidnapping, which is connected to the economic problems of these perpetrators. That is why they resort to commit that to someone.
I would also like to relate it as to why people resort to such killing someone, especially those for the sake of money, as they practice their freedom of choice in choosing something among number of options in relation to their financial problems, where they could have resort to applying jobs to earn money. However, we cannot blame them, as this job could be hired by the politicians, which is according to the Guzman, hitmans could be hired with $300 that easily compared to the minimum wage the person could receive per day. And knowing that we also have other social issues as well, such as inflation, and the minimum wage would not be enough in sustaining their everyday lives. Thus, in authentic freedom, the perpetrator in Christian morality lens isn't free, as freedom should be to do good and to always strive to be that good person that we're supposed to be.
As what you stated earlier, Soph, that laws are there for a reason. What can you say to the natural law that we have, which deriving from what our teacher told us, that it is knowable by sound human reason, and we don't need any Bible or religion class to understand them?
Aldous, we have our instinct, which shows our basic good, and reason allows us to derive from them. However, it also stated that reason could be overpowered by emotions, which I would like to add in a Christian morality lens as to why people who have grudge and rage to others could resort to commit gun violence, and makes us fail to do things what we need to do, which in connection to the 10 Commandments by Moses in the Bible, it has broken the Rule 6, which you shall not commit murder.
Well, thank you, Erwin and Soph. So, from their answers, we could come up that gun violence is really caused by people who are maybe intoxicated with alcohol. They could be overpowered by their emotions, which these burning emotions lasted for a long time. That's why they resort to killing someone using guns. It may be because they are influenced by money, as they also need financial support to sustain their lives, as could be ordered by someone in the world of politics. And also, people still find a way to build improvised guns and still buy them from the black market. Going back to the biblical past, do you guys think that this issue is new?
From the past, specifically in the Old Testament, in the story of Cain and Abel, Cain killed Abel because of jealousy, and this intense emotion which made Cain to kill him with a murder weapon, which in this modern society with the use of guns.
Now deriving from the experiences of Althea and Mary, I would also like to ask her, as a person who is aware of this issue, what do you think are the solutions to be able to prevent this issue?
As a student who is already aware of this issue, what we can do to prevent this is to really make people aware that this issue exists. This problem threatens the lives of people which do not even signal where and when it could happen. It could be in a documentary, word of mouth, and even sharing it to your social media platforms about this issue, which raises awareness of our fellow citizens.
Thank you so much to our lovely guests for sharing some of your knowledge with us today. And that is true. It is indeed unknown what time and where our lives would end. And knowing that this issue exists, especially in this city we live in, it has a threat to our safety. But in following these recommendations and ways in order to be the person who could eliminate the problem, we would and could be that someone. Incorporating all the moral approach to build good ethical judgments, such as the moral actions of a personalist approach. In doing the suggested actions, it promotes and protects the dignity, the freedom, and well-being of each individual person as unique and a valuable entity. applying consequenceless approach, which they rationalize what would result if they do not adhere or do the suggested actions, and having a deontological approach to just follow it because it is necessary for the issue to stop. And that would be able to prevent this issue that mainly affects our SDG 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. Now, we're going to discuss why it is our first episode and its relevance to the SDG.
Since this issue encompasses violence and abuse to our society, wherein our society should have compassion, strong moral compass, and peace.
Yes.
However, because of this, it tears up the very foundation of our civilization. Also, from the SDG itself, we need to have stronger institutions in order to ensure the safety of our citizens.
And people are relational beings, and this issue itself tears out the relatedness and connection of people, as it contradicts to our function here on earth that we do not simply exist for ourselves, but to socialize and be with others. And because this issue itself eliminates and kills someone's life, that becomes a threat to us, our norms as a human person.
Thank you so much, everyone, to our guests and speakers. Thank you so much for sharing your wonderful insights to us and your knowledge about it. We gained so much, and I hope you guys as well, our viewers, learn from this, as it affects not only us, not only them, but you and the whole world.
This is Charich,
And this is Precious.
This is Aldous.
And here we are in Make It Seen podcast.
where we tackle social issues that erases the rose-colored glasses we have to enlighten
And make it seem the uncovered parts in the different social issues in relation to the SDG,
peace, justice, and strong institutions.
Yeah.